friends, welcome back to AstroLOVE September. Oh my goodness, I am pretty sure we all have a story about August and we all have a story about retrograde. Heather and I actually just spent the last few minutes talking about our experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
The experience of just getting this video filmed. Recording filmed. So here we are. We are alive. We made it. It's happening.
You know, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to be a little more laser this episode than we probably usually are. But before we get started, I have to give a huge shout out to Heather because, girl, you have changed my life in so many ways.
Oh.
And a big part of my human design life has been putting together this podcast and it being a platform and just a space for me to explore and kind of and share what I'm learning on the process.
Yeah.
And just to see the numbers increase every month in listenership and subscribers, followers. And now we're getting to the point where we actually have people commenting on a regular basis and sharing their experience and their love of this particular episode more than anything. It just makes me so freaking happy. And so I just want to give you a huge shout out, send you so much love, and just thank you for being a friend and my co-pilot on this adventure for however long it lasts.
We're going to start this in tears.
Seriously, like this was just literally my manifestor brain was like, you should do a podcast and this should be about astrology and human design and find someone cool to do it with. And then you popped up.
I'm cool.
And we clicked and it just made sense. And here we are almost a year later. So
honestly, the sentiment is right there back. I have the most fun doing this podcast. I look forward to it every single month. I love that we have listeners. I love that we have people now sending in questions and commenting and interacting, but genuinely no one could listen to this. And I would be so happy doing this every single month just to hang out together. I'm having the time of my life doing this.
I love it. I love it. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Do you guys feel the love too? Like we're like wrapping you up because it does like, it is the cherry and the sprinkles on top of the cake, knowing that there are people actually listening to this on the other end.
True.
It's crazy.
I know. It's wild.
Oh, you guys.
The places it could go. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I love that Dr. Seuss book. I get so emotional every time I read it. I've talked about my nephew before, but obviously I had to get that book for him when he was born. We did this thing when he was brought home. Instead of doing like gifts and cards and whatever, everyone got a book that was meaningful to them or was meaningful to Amanda, Eric, and Mason being my nephew, and like wrote a little inscription so that he had this full library. And that was the book I got him was, Oh, the Places You'll Go, because it is one of my favorite books. And the message, the power, it's so cliche and unoriginal to say it, but I love it. So I wrote this like inscription to him. It takes up like the entire front and back cover.
I love that. No, that's so
special. I'm an obsessive aunt and I love that.
Aww.
That's my little tangent.
The new baby has arrived?
The new baby has arrived. His name is Calvin Christopher.
Oh, I love
He
that.
is a carbon copy of Mason. It is crazy. And the cutest thing of all time is Mason is obsessed with him. He's constantly asking if he can hold him. He just loves his baby brother so much, and he loves being a big brother, and he's the cutest thing in the whole wide world. But even more so than that, I think it's created a sense of competition. So he loves me even more. Like, he could have really like taken or leaving me because I bring a lot of desperate energy to the table with him. So all of a sudden, since Calvin's been back, like, he's really into Auntie. He's asking me when I'm going to come over to the house, when I'm going to hang out, what we're going to do together. He wants to show me things. Like, he really could have taken or leaving me before.
Oh.
He's never been upset about me leaving. Like, he's always the first one to say goodbye to me. In fact, he sometimes will dismiss me while I'm in the middle of being like,
Oh my
in
God.
the middle of dinner. Sometimes he has in the past just looked up at me and said, bye bye, Auntie.
Time for you to go.
Like, he dismisses me. Like, you've overstayed your welcome, lady. Get out of here. But now he's all about Auntie, and I love it. And I am not above pitting the two of them against each other for love.
This is going to be an interesting relationship.
We're already so toxic and dysfunctional.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And how is Mama?
She is a freak of nature. I love her so much. She, like, the birth of this child. I'm sorry, you guys, we're just going down like a little tangent, and I promise we'll get
Okay, it's okay. This is big news.
I promise we'll get to September. But yeah, like, she went into labor in the middle of the night, and within like 2.5 hours the baby was delivered.
Oh my gosh.
Like, the kid basically just fell right out of her. So
It was like, ready,
but like,
I'm ready.
they were because this was her second child and she hadn't had any complications with either one of them. They sent them home that night. They just had to go back to the hospital the next morning for tests.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, she is recovering. She's already like back to like doing light workouts and stuff. Like, the woman is incredible. She is, like, I lovingly call her a freak of nature, but it is, she is just one of the most inspiring, incredible women that I've ever met in my entire life. I'm so blessed that, like, I get to call her my sister-in-law. I love her to pieces.
That's amazing. I've never heard that.
It's insane what she, like, watching her before she became a mom, watching her and moving, like, just her determination and what she's accomplished in her life and stuff. I've always been in awe of her, but watching her be a mom and going through pregnancy, and now going through pregnancy while having a toddler, and now having 2 little guys in the house.
Yeah.
It's just been phenomenal. And while I'm praising Amanda, I also want to give a shout out to my brother, who, watching your younger siblings become a parent is one of the coolest experiences. Watching him be a really, not just a good dad, but a good partner to Amanda, being like the head of the family, or like the co-head, because they really, like, they've got a beautiful balanced relationship.
Wow.
And the consideration that they have for each other, the way that they communicate and talk things through, but like the protectiveness that he has in making sure that, like, we have a family construction company that we all work in as well. And him being like, no, I'm taking paternity leave so that I can be there with Amanda while we figure out how to become a family of 4 now, and making sure that Mason doesn't feel neglected now that there's a new little baby, making sure he feels just as loved and has as much attention as he has before, so that there's no resentment between the 2 of them, and just like passing back and forth and figuring out that dynamic. They work so well together, and it's been so cool to watch that. I'm so proud of them.
Wow. Oh, that makes me so happy.
Right? So that has been some beautiful, like in August, just really over the last 3 years watching with Mason, but especially this month, has been so phenomenal.
I really love that and I appreciate that because I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just in my world, my circle. I want to see more examples of that. I want to see more examples of partnerships and relationships that are working together and it's not one person over the other and families working together and really taking that time and care to nurture because it is a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. It's a very varied when you especially when you have kids in there. And it's just so important to just know that these are all now four individual people coming
Hmm.
together to share a life.
Oh yeah.
How do we make it work?
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
Wow. Well, congrats. Congrats to
Thank you.
all of
And if
you.
anyone's wondering, I did get Calvin the very first thing I did was order a very expensive stuffed tiger. So he had his own hobs. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that that was picked up on and the opportunity was not missed.
The minute you said his name, something triggered it. I was like, what cartoon is that? Look, I was like going through like Winnie the Pooh
Oh,
and
Eric and I, growing up, we were obsessed with Calvin and Hobbes. Eric has every single one of the books. We both, for Christmas, it must have been like somewhere between like 6 or 8 years ago. My dad got my brother and I both this like gorgeous complete collection of Calvin and Hobbes for Christmas.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was,
Oh,
and I don't know where he found them, but there was like this little cartoon postcard, and it was of Calvin and Susie grown up and married together, and Hobbs still with them. And
oh,
it like I cried when I saw it because I was like, this is amazing. And he got it framed for both of us and this box set, and it was like one of the most incredible gifts ever.
oh, that's cool. So, Dad, that was a
Yeah.
good gift.
So the minute, as soon as they told me that Calvin, I was like, I need to get him a Hobbs. He needs a Hobbs. And it is really hard to find the right, because he can't just be any stuffed tiger. It has to
Right.
be the certain type. It has to look kind of like Hobbs, but it also has to be able to like sit, stand, like do it. It has to be cuddly. It took a long time and it cost me a lot of money to find this guy.
Well, I hope he loves and appreciates it.
Oh, the odds that he does, slim to none, but I do. That's one thing that I learned from Mason very quickly was that if you're going to do these things, you got to do it for you, because you
Yeah.
can't project that they're going to receive it the way that you want to receive it. And if you go in expecting that, you're going to be so disappointed. And this kid has beaten me so far down by dismissing me in the middle of dinner so many times.
Oh my goodness. You know now. You know. All
Oh
right.
my God.
We're
Okay.
showing you some love. We will never beat you up here
I really
at the
needed that
Astro
pick me up
table.
this morning.
We got you. We got you, girl. It's all good.
Oh my gosh. So funny.
Oh, okay. We're back.
Shall we get into September's astrology, y'all?
Yes, 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 yes. I love all the Beyonce like memes and stuff you've been sending me and my friends have been sending me and like Virgo energy. Yes, yes, yes. Lay it
The
on me.
queen of all Virgos. I mean, we'll get to what I need to talk to about with Beyonce,
Okay.
but I mean, let's get into who our celeb friends are, shall we?
Yes, please.
I've also all morning had Virgo's Groove like in my, because I always have music in my head.
Yes.
So Virgo's Groove has been the one that's been like rolling all morning, because I knew that we were coming on here talking about it. I know we're going to talk about my Virgo queen and her Virgo queen behavior. Anyways, the Canadian king, Keanu Reeves, is a Virgo. pop up.
Yeah, I know.
Zendaya, Kiki Palmer, Idris Elba, I know, Blake Lively, Melissa
Yeah.
McCarthy, Amy Poehler, Prince Harry, Adam Sandler, Pink. I always find these things interesting. And we did this with friends when there was like 4 of them. But Niall Horan and Liam Pine from One Direction, both Virgos. Sophia Richie and Nicole Richie, which I find fascinating. John Mulaney, Billy Porter, Bernie Sanders, Jason Derulo, Colin Firth. I've been so excited to be able to do that.
I can tell.
Loki, the only reason why he made it on the list. Taraji P. Henson. Tyler Perry, Jennifer Coolidge, and of course, the queen of all the Virgos, Miss Beyonce. Okay, so the Virgo queen behavior that I want to talk about is when on the very first day of Virgo season, Beyonce puts out a post that is giving a dress code for the month of Virgo. If you're going to attend her concert, this is what you wear. And there is nothing more Virgo than saying, hey guys, we're going to have some very organized fun. This is the attitude you're going to come with. This is how you're going to dress. We are going to all look conformed and together, because when we're organized and we have all the pieces together, we can guarantee you we're going to have a better time.
I'm running a checklist of all my Virgo friends and like, yep, that seems about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was peak Virgo behavior, and I love it.
Do you think that was intentional?
1,000%. No,
Yeah.
there is no one who is more conscious of their sun sign energy than Beyonce.
I love it. Much respect.
Like the top of the post said, it's Virgo season. So I'm going full Virgo, and here's what that looks like.
Okay.
She literally did say in it, like, for Virgo season or in honor of Virgo season, which these are the dates.
Right.
This is what you're gonna do.
Okay.
Oh God, if you guys need a pick me up at any point in time, just think back to that moment. And if that doesn't give you a little giggle, because also since that post went out, I've seen all kinds of people, specifically Miss Gayle King, out there going and searching out for a silver outfit so that she could go and see Beyonce, because she has.
My gosh.
The details were given, the request was made. We must respect and honor.
Love it. Oh,
isn't that incredible?
Yes.
You guys go to Gayle King's Instagram. She made like a whole reel about her searching for her silver Beyonce outfit. I'm love
definitely
Gayle.
checking that out. She's awesome. She's like the best friend. She's the best friend you want to have.
Absolutely. The two of them, like,
I know.
love. Okay, let's talk about some fast facts for Virgo. So the dates for Virgo season are typically August 23rd to September 22nd, and the season that it marks is the end of summer. Right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited for summer to be over.
I love summer and fall the best. So I'm a little sad, but fall's coming, so it's all good.
Fall is coming. I'm a spring autumn gal.
Okay.
I love me some autumn though. Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Okay.
Which we are definitely feeling that, because right now Mercury is taking its trip backwards in Virgo. So we got some big fire energy happening. Not like fire in the sense of fire, just fire in the sense that it's like burning us all down. The quality of the energy of Virgo is it's mutable, which means that it's marking the transition from one season to another. So it's a little more flexible in what it is. Like our cardinal energies, like our Cancers, our Aries, they're very like hard and steadfast in what they are. And in the mutable, they're kind of like playing in between what's here and what's to come.
Love
Because
that.
we've got that transition happening. We've got that earth energy. So Virgo is our harvest queen, really about our health, our wellness, getting back to simplifying things in the oneness, very grounded, more like chill, practical, logical, analytical kind of feeling. They're a yin energy, which means that they're more intrinsic or solo. They're not as extroverted and outgoing. They're really more kind of like at peace with themselves, not wanting a lot of like big action and attention. The spirit of the season is really, I analyze or I keep it simple.
I like that.
And they really come alive by, wait for it, perfecting.
Yes.
Duh. I know no one saw that coming.
Duh.
Yes, cat's out of the bag. Virgo is truly our perfectionist.
Yeah.
So some of the traits that we'll typically find in Virgo is obviously the perfectionist, very detail orientated, very analytical. They tend to be quite humble, even though there is kind of like a misconstrued energy of them knowing what's best because they can see the details. They can see point A, point B, and how to get there, and it just makes sense to them. But the way when they're delivering it, though, it can come across sometimes as like, I know what's best, so just listen to me. It can kind of feel like the antithesis of humble. The reason why they're saying it is because they know how to help you and they know what's best for you. So it's truly coming from this humbled energy. It's not about them at all. It's about helping you. And that's why it can feel so heavily pushed, is because they so desperately want to be able to help you to be more efficient in your life. Efficiency is something that's very important to Virgos. They love to be helpful. They've got a really strong mind-body connection. They love simplicity, because when you can have simplicity and when you keep things simple, you can make them more efficient and effective.
Love that.
They don't want to overcomplicate things, because then you lose the plot and it's unnecessary. It's frivolous. And again, with that humble energy, they don't want the frivolity.
That's a great word.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I love that word. Sorry, you just caught me off guard. Like, ooh, I just got a tingle. Ooh.
They're very service orientated. They're always prepared.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
They're very discerning. They're very refined and very self-effacing. So some of the archetypes that we see is the Virgin. Virgo is built off of the archetype that she is the temple virgin. She's dedicated to the deity, which is a representative of the self-sufficiency and devotion to the practical service, and just really wanting to make sure that like everyone is taken care of and everyone's good, everyone's healthy, everyone's got what they need. Anything to do with health and wellness, like nutritionist, dietitian, herbalist, acupuncturist, Reiki, RMT, body talk. My aunt, she is the oldest on my dad's side of the family. She's the oldest of 4. So she has 3 younger brothers. Take a moment for Aunt Linda. She
God bless her.
Interestingly enough, she grew, when she left the house, she started working at a bank, and she worked at a bank for the majority of her life. And then when she retired, she really leaned into more of the things that she was always really interested in, like astrology, like mind-body connection things. And she actually became a practitioner of body talk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what was really interesting about that is when I was 16 and she hosted a 50th wedding anniversary for my grandparents, and I had huge breasts and they were constantly a problem for me. If I was doing anything physical education wise, I had to have like at least 2 bras on. Most of the time, like I couldn't do anything that involved running because it just like the pain and all down my back, my neck, and my shoulders was outrageous. I was so uncomfortable in my body. And so she offered to do a body talk session on me. And during that session, she had said, like, do you have problems breathing? And I was like, well, like, yeah, kind of. And she was going through and she's like, your diaphragm is being so compressed by the weight of your chest, and like going over. And she's like, she asked me if I'd ever considered a breast reduction. And I was like, 16 years old. I was not aware that that was even a thing that I could consider or think about or talk about, or like if that was on the table. So she told me about a friend of hers who she had done a session for, and it was very similar. Like she had like all these parts of her body that were being crushed by the weight of her chest, and she was being so held back by because she was like couldn't be her full self. So she talked to my dad about it, and when I got home, we went and saw a doctor, and we got the conversation going. By the time that I was 19, I got my breast reduction, and it changed my whole life.
Wow.
It was crazy. But yeah, it was because of my gorgeous Virgo aunt leaning into like what she was meant to be doing and doing this body talk session on me and being so powerful. So yeah, other things are like an ER surgeon, a pathologist, an aerospace technologist, archivist. It should be noted my Aunt Linda is also like, she is like our family history archive. Accountant, journalist, editor, or orchestra conductor. Those are some things that we typically see. Yeah, a lot of Virgo energy into. So let's get into justice for Virgo, okay? I wonder if we can track like if I laugh the same every time we go into like a justice for.
We'll have to go back to this footage.
Oh, okay. So Virgos get their perfectionism thrown back in their face as if it's a bad thing constantly. They get so abused for being perfectionists, and it's not a bad thing. We need to have these perfectionists around. It can get frustrating because they can sometimes be a little relentless in it, because they can't take a hint. And that's the thing. They just need you to be very clear and concise in how you're saying things back to them. So if you don't want their help and you want to just figure it out your way, you've got to acknowledge and let them know, hey, I know that you see a really clear path here and you're trying to help me, but what's going to work best for me is to figure it out on my own. They won't listen to anything else. You got to keep it simple, and yet like efficiency and effective, y'all. You got to keep it simple, efficient, effective. And that is to be clear and concise with them. Otherwise, they'll just keep trying to find new ways to get across to you. It just won't stop. And acknowledging that you see that what they're doing is out of the pure love of their heart. They just want to help you. When you can say it that way and see, like, I see you and I see what's happening, they'll be like, okay, I don't like it, but I don't have to like it. It's not about me.
Right.
It's about you.
That makes so much sense. Oh, okay.
And you just have to accept that they're not going to love that you don't want their help, because that's their purpose in this world.
Yeah.
But they will accept it because they know that that's what you need, because you clearly explained that.
Okay.
It's really funny, again, because I have an aunt who is so strongly Virgo. So watching that dynamic with her 3 younger brothers, even as they are full ass adults, watching the dynamic between those 4 is fascinating.
That's her case study.
She is constantly like mothering or trying to take control. And these 3 are aloof, They are doing their thing. They're communicating in their brotherly way. And you've got older sister coming in and trying to keep control, try to keep everything clean and in the boxes the way it's supposed to go. She's got it all figured out.
No.
And it just drives them all crazy with each other in a very they're so close and so loving with each other, but it's so funny to watch. Like you can start to see when like it starts to get too much. I'm like, all you got to do is just say, Linda, listen. I don't want it. I know you're trying to be helpful, but I don't want it right now.
Well, that's so helpful for me because I have a couple of Virgo friends, and now I know how to clearly communicate with them in a loving way.
In a very loving way. I see
Yeah.
you. I see what you're doing. The other thing that can happen with Virgos is they can get really lost in the details, which can take them out of the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all seen Virgos do that.
Mm-hmm.
We start out with a purpose and what we're trying to solve, but then because they love the nitty gritty details. So then the more time that they spend down figuring out those nitty gritty details, before you know it, they're so familiar with them that they've become bigger than nitty gritty details. They become the picture. And so sometimes we have to help them and say, hey, eyes up. That's not it. It doesn't matter that much. You need to get some perspective.
I love that. Okay.
We have to remind them that they don't have to sweat the small stuff, because when they do, they get lost in the weeds, and they're not helping anyone down in the weeds. Right. You got to keep eyes out on it. And that's something that Virgos really understand, is that the devil is in the detail, but sometimes they can get a little bit lost down there, and then that becomes everything and they just lose that sight. So the perfectionist tendencies can therefore become more of an obsessive need for order and control. And that's when it switches from the positive and helpful aspects of the perfectionist, the one who is like making sure that we've got, plan A, B, C, and contingency plan D, E, F. And all the ways that everything can go right and wrong, and they know exactly how to tackle everything. You want to have that person in your life. That person, that perfectionist, that detail-oriented person is going to save your ass 1,000,001 times.
Got it.
They're going to make sure that everything is covered. And more often than not, if it starts going off, they'll swoop in and fix the problem before you're even aware of it. And
never thought about
beautiful.
that.
Oh, it is beautiful. Love your Virgos for the like weirdo that they are. They're so necessary, and they will pay attention to things and keep track of things that you don't even know exist. And you just get to go up like prancing through life, enjoying whatever it is that you're doing, and they're enjoying what they're doing. And it's fantastic. But sometimes it can be a little obsessive. And so then it turns into that thing where it becomes the perfectionist that we all kind of have like that angst against, where they're trying to like keep everything because they're feeling a little unstable in themselves. And that's usually when it starts to shift over. There's some instability or some insecurity in themselves. So instead of, making sure that everything is working and getting all the pieces together, they're like trying to like hold on for dear life and like white knuckling this thing. And so it's becoming very constrictive and not helpful. And that's when it becomes that thing that we don't like, because the perfectionist isn't trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly and efficiently and effectively, is trying to control because things feel out of control for them. And then it feels like it's being pushed on the rest of us. And we don't like that. It's less helpful for us and more helpful to them. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Just love your Virgos. Just communicate with them. Don't get angsty. Don't let it boil up. When you start to feel like you need to back off, you say, hey, I love you. I see what you're doing, and I appreciate the intention. I don't want it. Not right now.
Okay, I'm going to use that. and get back to you.
Yep. And remember, they don't have to like it, but they will respect it.
Right.
And you guys will have a better relationship because you're going to start to establish some boundaries with your Virgos. I'll tell you, my aunt doesn't always like it. She may huff a little bit, but she knows.
She gets it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bust out your calendars. It's time to talk about some key dates you should know.
Yes.
We started workshopping some like sound stuff before, right?
We did. Yeah. He's working on
Okay.
it. Like,
So
especially for this moment, like there should be something big and triumphant, like key dates, something like it needs to be known.
There was just another, it was very like Price is Right, game show when you're homesick, key dates you should know.
Exactly. I want this to be a phrase. Like people are like, oh, that's from AstroLOVE.
Everything that I say, because I was just about to say like justice for. It's all game show.
Yes.
I should have been a game show announcer.
Funny side note, I have a friend who actually creates game shows for networks. So I'm totally, now that you say that, I'm going to ask him like for his input on what we could do. Yeah, it's a really cool job.
I actually, for that period of time, lost my ability to use my voice. That is so cool. If you guys weren't watching, I had a really unattractive open mouth gape going on. It was stuck.
You were just in shock.
That's so cool.
I know. It's a cool job. A lot of work, but yeah, just come with the concepts and like, okay, how does the prize work? Who wins and what's the point? And how we make it fun and the music and the lights and the all of it.
I have so many questions for this person. I loved game shows growing up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that was like a thing with me and my grandparents when I go visit them, like game shows and soap operas. That's all we would watch.
Ooh, what soap operas?
Loving.
Did you guys have like?
We did Loving, As the World Turns, All My Children. Yeah. I was way too young to be watching this kind of stuff, but I totally was.
Oh, that's all I watched as a child were things that I was too young to watch.
Right? Right? Yeah. It explains so much. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, on a side note, did you watch the Barbie movie?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? What was that response?
I kind of feel like maybe we shouldn't talk about it because it might bring in some comments we don't want.
What comments would we want? It is the best. Okay, I will stand here, right now. I saw that movie 3 times in 1 week. It is the greatest movie that has ever been made. And if anyone thinks otherwise, go watch it again.
So it was the watch it again.
Go watch it again because you didn't get it the first time. Go watch it again. You will like in the 3. I know it's going to be a movie that when it comes out, it will be a movie that I watch 1,000,001 times. And I know that I will find new things, 1,000,000 new things every single time. It is the most important movie that has ever been made. It was the most well done, well thought out, well written, down to the details of the production and the set.
This might be the first thing we just have to agree to disagree on.
You haven't seen the movie enough.
Well, okay. Can I wait until it's free and on like a streaming platform?
Absolutely. Okay. Then you watch it at least one more time and we'll loop back on this conversation.
Yes.
But I'll go toes with people on this, debating it.
Done. Yes.
Yeah. Come at me in the comments if you disagree with me because you're wrong.
You sure you weren't a Virgo?
I actually like Virgo. I don't have any planets in it, but I actually do feel like I have a lot of Virgo energy.
In this moment with Barbie, it seems like it. Like,
This is
you
this
know
is
what's right.
actually my Mars in Leo in my 11th house. That's what this is. When I feel passionately about something, like I will
Oh,
burn the house down to drive my point home. And especially because this one, it feels so important for society.
my goodness, you're making this even bigger. Now it's society. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to
It
see
was
this
always about
again.
society.
What I thought was interesting, on one more side note,
Yeah.
was human design wise, I found out that we were in gate 2 for a good portion of the end of last month, I think in this month.
Mhm.
And that was around the time when Barbie came out. And so yin obviously is very feminine. And so there was a lot of emphasis on female empowerment, femininity, all of that, the essence of being feminine.
Yeah.
And even though Oppenheimer, I think that's how you said, was out at the
Yeah.
same time when there was the whole Barbie Oppenheimer thing, even with that movie being very drastically different, it was the idea of what would a woman have done. And
Mhm.
so it's still the conversation was still geared toward the feminine.
And it was really interesting because even with that, people were saying, everyone was predicting that Oppenheimer was like going to embarrass Barbie at the box office. It was going to
And it
sweep
didn't.
it.
It
It
didn't.
was it was consistently performing like half of the
Yeah.
number.
Yeah. And throw in there, we had the Women's World Cup, which was the biggest
Mhm.
it's ever been.
Mhm. Oh, this is the summer of the women. We've got
Yeah.
Beyonce's tour, like Taylor Swift's tour,
Yep.
Barbie, the
Yep.
Women's World Cup. Like this was the summer of the woman.
That's what I'm seeing. It's like things like that when they happen. Is there like some little astrologer person in the background who's like figuring all this out and letting all these entities know like when to launch and go?
Oh, no, I don't think there's that, but there are astrologists out there who are like, this is why, because you can find an answer in astrology for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like, what are the odds? Like coincidentally, like this just happens, you know?
This is there. I can't remember who it was, but there was an actor who was on a podcast who was saying that the wrong thing is being taken away from Barbie's success, which is not that, oh, Barbie was really good. Barbie was a toy. So we need to make more movies about toys. What Barbie is doing and why Barbie was successful, because it was a movie that was written and directed by a woman about the female experience. And that is what we need to be doing.
I can appreciate that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will
God, I
go
love
into it
it
the
so
next
much.
time with that in mind.
Don't go into it, like I encourage people to, when I say to watch it another time, it's because the first time was probably going in to go and watch a movie about Barbie the toy and like the pretty pink aesthetic, and Barbie the movie is a Trojan horse because that's the entry point, but it's the subtext beneath it all for everything. It is so campy that it makes the messaging so easily digestible or receivable. It's so good.
Okay, I hadn't thought of it like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I just
Piques my
appreciate even like the
interest.
details of it. Like there's no water in Barbie land. So like she goes to have a shower and there's no water, yet she's still like acting like she's underneath it.
That was funny.
Oh,
And I
the
will say
details
I
of it
did
all.
love America's character, and she had so many good
Yeah.
lines that truly, yes, like were
There
true.
was just another small detail, which again makes me think that like there is like some Virgo in my past some way somehow that just is so prevalent to me. But it took me this, there was in the second time that I saw it, but I noticed that any time that the Barbies move, you can actually hear an underlying of the squeak that Barbie's limbs used to make when you would move them. Like, you
Oh
know,
my
that squeaky noise when you
gosh.
would move their legs or like
Yeah.
when you're putting their clothes on, you can hear it when the Barbies are moving. The details that were thought out to make this thing so immersed in Barbie land
Oh,
is
that's
insane.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyways, get out your calendars because it's key dates you should know.
Great comeback.
Yeah.
Carry on.
September, September 3rd, Venus goes direct in Leo. And now I'm stuck in this voice.
Come back, come back.
Okay, so we've had a really long retrograde pattern with our gal Venus. She has been
Yes.
retrograde since July 22nd. But on September 3rd, the planet of love and harmony resumes its forward motion and it starts lifting the curtain on a new scene. So this is bringing back to like feeling free again in your pursuit of happiness. You might have been feeling that when it comes down to things that bring you pleasure, bring you joy, your interpersonal relationships, those things might have been feeling a little sticky lately. You might have been finding it hard to find joy and appreciation in the things that used to bring you joy, or the pastimes and hobbies that you used to lean into to make you feel good. Maybe some of those self-care practices, whether that's like your weekly manicure appointment or something like that, that used to bring so much joy, aren't really anymore. And you've been kind of feeling like, why? This has been your time to start exploring other things. Maybe it's that you don't feel fulfilled with having things like that anymore, and you're starting to shift in where your interests lie or what makes you happy. So this has been a time for you to start dabbling and exploring and looking at what else there could be for you. So as we're coming out into September 3rd, we're starting to come out of that feeling of like, oh, these things just aren't as much fun as they used to be, or I don't love these things as much as I used to be, or these friendships feel like they're a little more work than they used to be, or I'm having more miscommunication with my partner, or we just keep like missing each other like ships in the night. It's starting to come back and you're starting to become in sync with yourself and your passion. And you're starting to come back into sync with the people in your life, or maybe the new people that have entered your life, or coming to peace with some people who you've had to shift your relationship within life. But we're coming into that, and we're coming out of that sort of like shifting period, and we're getting clarity on it and accepting this new way of being and leaning into what this new pleasure principle is in your life.
I like that.
So you're going to start to feel like you don't need to second guess anyone anymore, because you've gone through this extra long period of kind of auditing who gets to be in your life, what gets to be in your life. And if you're single, and this is what we were talking about earlier, where I haven't been feeling the need to like really put pressure or any real energy or thought into certain people coming into my life any sooner, because I know that the stuff that has been going on has been sorting itself out, and in the very near future everything's going to be closed up and put away, so that I'm on this new path, this new pleasure principle, and I'll be ready and receptive and not, overthinking anything. It's just going to be able to roll into and naturally progress into something.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah. So it might have felt like a bit of a dry patch if you've been a single gal that you've been going through, but it's not going to last for very long, because it's just been a dry patch. So you have this period of time to really reevaluate what has been existing, what your standards for partnership has been, and for you to really do this final audit of questioning, where do these standards come from? Where did I learn them from? And what are they actually providing for my life? What is the kind of partner I want to be in my life? And what is the kind of partner I want to have in my life? What does that relationship look like?
That's huge.
Mm-hmm. And it's not until we go through, when we do that look and we really play around with it, we get in there and we kind of tussle around with it. It's not until we go ahead and do that work that we can actually get to a point where we understand and know fully what it is that we're looking for. And until we do that, we aren't open and ready to receive, because we don't know what the hell we're trying to receive.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And especially as we get older in dating, we don't want to spend as much time going through the whole dating process. We kind of
Mhm.
want to get down into it a little more. And that could be, we are in a place in our lives where we just want to date and have fun. So we don't want to, you know, get caught up in something that's going to be more complicated or more serious. We want more purpose so that we can be more efficient and effective,
Yeah.
which, I mean, we're in Virgo season. For goodness sake. But
How
that's the
appropriate.
thing, is we've gone through, we've played the games, we've done the sorting it out, we've done the, you know, dicking around and whatever. And as we get older with dating, we want to be more specific, we want to be more intentional one way or another in what we're doing. And until we're clear on that ourselves, we're going to be stuck in that old like 20 somethings way of dating where we're just kind of like throwing crap at the wall and seeing what works. You know, it's just kind of like we're just jumping into things and trying to, like, we find one person that we have of interest in, we try to make them and mold them into what we want them to be instead of listening to the signs and looking at it, and we don't even know exactly what it is that we want, so we don't know how to ask for it. But what we're getting here and now coming out of this this retrograde in Leo is we're getting that confidence to say, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm looking for, this is the partner that I want, this is the partner that I am. Take it or leave it.
I love that. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely been feeling that as well, and didn't have words to put to it. Didn't realize what was going on, but yeah, I totally feel that. Huh. Okay.
Oh, it's so, and you can go ahead and you can get your hair cut now. You can go, if you've been wanting to, if you've been wanting to color your hair or really change up your look in any way, you can go ahead and do it now. We can take ourselves off pause from any aesthetic beauty perspectives. Go
Love
for
it.
it. You want to get
Love it.
lasered, you go for it. Dye your hair, get a whole new wardrobe, because you're clear now on what it is that you want. You're clear on what this next
Yes.
phase of you looks like.
Yes. Boom. Love
You
it.
know who you are and you know how to decorate her now.
Cool. Okay.
All right. So on September 4th to December 30th, because we have one planet coming out of retrograde, we've got another one going in. And just as we giveth, we taketh. So Jupiter is going to be retrograding into Taurus, not into, just in Taurus. Okay, so this is a point in time where you want to keep your eye on the prize and the process to get said prize. Jupiter is our optimistic planet. It is a planet that is all about fame, fortune, all the good things. We love Jupiter, and it's slipping into its annual retrograde. So it's really easy for us to be susceptible to falling in love with people's potential, and kind of, or even the potential of opportunities. We can be a little bit more like starry-eyed and just really wanting to, like, it's more fun to not do your due diligence. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Due diligence is kind of a bummer. So we just kind of want to be like, okay, I see the opportunity and I really want what's on the other side of that. And I'm just going to pretend like nothing could go wrong.
That's not just being optimistic.
That's what we would call like blind optimism, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can be optimistic and still keep your eyes wide open.
Got it.
Yeah. So this is a time where for the remainder of the year, we really want to, if we get really excited about something, we see a lot of potential in it, allow yourself the moment to be like, okay, let's really dig into this a little bit. Not to say that it's too good to be true, but this is really making sure that we're catching ourselves on like what's getting us really excited and where we like to see potential, but also where we can kind of let ourselves be our own worst enemy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to just, you know, tighten up, get clear on the criteria of your life and what are actual potential. Right? Not every opportunity is an opportunity. And if that's the mindset that you do have currently, that's a sign that you've got some real lack and scarcity that's living underneath the surface for you.
Wait, say that again.
If you're getting caught with looking at like every opportunity is an opportunity, like you're not somebody who can vet through and be like, that's not for me.
Oh,
You want to do, it's because what's drawing you to that is a scarcity that another opportunity isn't going to come, or you're going to miss out on something, instead of making
oh,
sure that it's the thing that's right for you and it's going to keep you going. And that is oftentimes what holds most of us back from working towards our goals, is we get distracted by other bright, shiny things because it's presented to us like an opportunity, usually because it's of a benefit to the person who's presenting it to us.
right.
But we forget that, oh, I've got my own list of criteria of what I'm working towards, and that might not actually move me any closer to it. I am right now working with a girlfriend of mine. She has a not-for-profit organization, and every year they're doing a charity golf tournament to raise money. That's like the big fundraiser every year for it. And this is a conversation that I've recently had with her, is because she was getting distracted by like opportunities that were coming through, or like just things that didn't actually align. And so that's become my role, is to be kind of like the wet blanket that's like, okay, but like that's missing the plot. How does that actually bring here? And she's like, I just want to add value. And I was like, but what is the value? This is the organization. This is the demographic of who's coming and participating. Do they give a shit about that? No. Just because you're bringing it and you're adding it to like a swag bag or something, that doesn't add value just because it is something else.
That's huge.
Yeah. So this is also a good opportunity to make sure that you have the right sounding board in your sphere.
Yeah.
People that you know that have integrity, reliability, that understand you and your value system, that can have those conversations with you and help you to stay direct and on course. When you say, hey, this is my goal and what I'm working towards, this is an opportunity that I got really excited about. Can I just talk this out with you and see if it makes sense, if we can see how it can move the needle forward towards my goal still? And making sure that that's a person that you know and can trust to say, yeah, no, that makes sense. I can see the through line here. Or, nah, that's not, you're getting distracted here. That's not going to move you any closer to. So where is the value for you? Is this opportunity an opportunity?
Okay.
So this is also a good time to make sure that you're also going through your own systems, life hacks, ways that you can work smarter, not harder, and make sure that you do have kind of like project plans and budgets in place.
Nice.
So project plans, meaning like you have a goal that you're working towards, you know how you're kind of getting there. Do you have things like that in your life? If you don't, this is a great time for you to start looking into that. Maybe hire a coach and help you to build that plan to get you there, and to help you be able to vet through all those opportunities in your life. Okay. The 14th, September 14th, we've got a new moon in Virgo. And keeping on with this theme of coming up with life systems, this is the time for you to do what I like to call a life audit.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness. Okay.
This is a time for you to really look at what is existing in your life, and to go through and say, okay, this is what currently exists. This is what I want to exist. Where are the gaps here? What can stay, what needs to go, and what needs to come into place?
Got it.
And Virgo also really loves if you can take a look at things with like a clean green ethos at the things in your life. So things that, like, looking through your cleaning products in your house, are there ways that you can make your life more sustainable? Looking at things like investigating B corporations. Who can you support that's local? Who's a B corporation? Trying to minimize the waste that you produce in your life. If you're cleaning out your closet, not throwing things out, but donating them, selling them to consignment, and other things in your life too that you have around the house that you want to get rid of. How can you stop it from going to a dump, but instead going to be reused or reloved somewhere else? Or even, are there things in your house that you might not use anymore that you can repurpose in other ways? Or if there's a piece of furniture that you like, it doesn't really fit with your decor anymore, or your style anymore, can you refinish it so you can repurpose it instead of just buying a new piece of furniture? If you are buying new things, is there a way that you can get something that is repurposed so that you can relove it instead of buying new?
Yes.
Things like that. Starting to go through your life in that way, and also looking at how are you moving your body, how are you fueling yourself. These are things that Virgo really loves to take account on. I know that like every September, I feel like I need to have like a whole like detox or something. And that's a large part of, because that's Virgo's energy of being like, okay, you just had like your debauchery summer, living your best life. Now it's time to get back into practice. It's time to start taking care of this temple in which your soul lives in, and cleaning it up so that you can be fueling yourself to live through life and experience life. And that's really starting to get back into touch with, how are you feeding yourself? How are you making sure that you're taking care of yourself? Are you getting enough sleep? Eating more whole foods. So if you can start shopping at like a local farmer's market or something like that, so that you're fueling yourself instead of just looking at it as like food to eat, look at it as fuel to live.
Love it.
Right.
Yes.
And that starts with like the choice in which, because everything has energy and everything's vibrating. So if you're choosing something that is like leafy greens and whole foods that have come like fresh from the ground, that's going to be a higher vibrational food than like running through McDonald's.
Absolutely.
Something that is like chemical
Yeah.
processed. So if you're somebody who like, you're feeling like you're really lethargic all the time, doing that audit, how am I fueling myself? Am I moving my body to generate more energy? Am I supporting myself? Am I getting enough sleep? If those are the three things that even one of those is not doing great, or like you're not hydrating, start working on being like, okay, well, that's the number one thing. It's not, I need to go and like get a new, like I need more coffee or anything like that. Like start thinking, I need to drink more water. I need to make sure that I get 8 hours of sleep. I need to move my body for 30 minutes a day, even if they're just going for a walk, a light walk around the neighborhood. Like those are things that we really need to start prioritizing. And it is amazing how fast your life will start turning around if you're just taking care of those things.
Fun. That's
and
easy.
again, Virgo's just reminding you, keep it simple, and that'll create efficiency and effectiveness in your life. Strip it down to basics.
And sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
If it's simple, you'll stick with it.
Exactly.
Chances are higher. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So then on the 15th, Mercury goes direct in Virgo. Hallelujah. Okay, so this like craziness of miscommunication, technology kind of like letting us down, us saying things not in the way in which we mean them. So it feels like things aren't coming across very well. We're going to start getting that back. And so this is a time for you to start really thinking about what has been the big pain points for you. Like my favorite example is like that year that I spilt like 4 liters of water in the span of 2 weeks.
I remember you showed us that.
I'm still scarred from that, and I'm still very diligent about making sure that I'm moving slower. Yeah. And that I'm not keeping water around technology, and then I'm making sure that like there's lids on things. Like I learned my lesson. So that, but the only way that I could learn that lesson is from actually taking pause and being like, okay, what was I doing right before that moment? Right. Same thing with when I send an email and there's a bunch of spelling mistakes or like whatever, or like you send an email and you need to have everyone be CC'd, but everyone's CC'd instead. And so you've just sent out like an email with a bunch of like everybody's contact information on. How fast were you moving? Were you doing your double check points? Like were you reacting or were you responding? There is a difference between those two. So just starting to do like an audit, what was happening just before the thing went wrong? And then that will start to show you the pattern and start to give you highlights of what are some of the things that you can start changing in your life so that you can make yourself more efficient, effective, and like not having to deal with this crap again.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, you'll keep getting it if you don't deal with it. But also take a deep sigh of relief because it's been a lot. Okay, then on the 23rd, the sun moves into Libra, which means that it is a Libra season, and that always makes me happy. And I know that that makes you happy, girly.
Yeah.
We've got some big Libra energy happening up in here. So this is really like, we are no longer a one-man wolf pack. We are moving into a period of time where we love to be around our people. We are ready to be social. We have gotten ourselves back on track, and we are ready to just get lit up with joint ventures, group activities, enjoying all the like autumn fun things that we can do with our girlies. Oh, this is a period of romance. It's a time just to make sure that everybody is like having fun and feeling good. Libra, I'm so biased towards Libra. In business and in pleasure, in the name of all things that is dynamic duos, this is our time.
Yes.
You're going to increase your chances of having happiness and success by making sure that you are keeping an open mind of the different types of people in your life and how everybody's strengths work together and how you can best support each other.
Love that.
So really like belly up to bargaining tables, make sure that this is like a really diplomatic 4-week period of time. So this is the time to really be like, these are my needs, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I can give. And be really open-minded about what everybody is bringing to the table and receptive. This is going to be the time where we're really able to negotiate and renegotiate what is existing in our lives with the people, places, and things that are nearest and dearest to us, or what it is that we're working towards, and making sure this is going to be the time where we're not really like in our head about, is this person going to be, am I taking advantage of them or anything? Because we're really, really clear on the fact that we are giving as much as we're receiving.
Gotcha.
That's Libra's thing. We are Libras represented by the scales for a reason. So this is, if you are in a relationship or you're actively dating, this is going to be a really strong period of time to make sure that your relationships are on the right track and that everybody is being well taken care of. And it's a period of time where relationships are going to become a little more serious because we're going to be feeling like we are ready to have these conversations to make sure that you're happy with the way that things are happening and I'm happy with the way that things are happening. And this can be in romantic relationships, friendships. This is also a great time, like in professional settings as well, to be having those dynamic conversations, make sure we're checking in with each other and everybody's all good because we're all open and receptive to it.
Love it.
Yes. But we'll get more into Libra next month. Buckle up. It's going to be all like hearts and red rosy things and romance. Oh, I've been reading, I'm deep into the Bridgerton world reading wise. I'm reading the whole series. Like I finished the 8 books. I'm into the prequel. I'm on the 4th book of the prequels, which is the Rokesby series. And I'm just about to jump into Queen Charlotte and I think there's 3 other Whistledown stories. And then I'm done with the Bridgerton.
Oh my goodness.
That I cannot recommend them enough, especially for a Libra, honey. Like they're so romantic and so beautiful, and the writing is so good. They're just light, easy, they're horny and great. They're so good. I
That should
love
be
them
on the
so
book
much.
cover.
You
That
know,
should be
horny
a
as
selling.
hell, romantic and horny as hell.
Recommended book list. And why?
It's going to get very confusing with chapters indigo because there's Heather's picks, but I'm going to come out with my own Heather's picks.
I think you should. Absolutely.
I'm going to have to change it ever so slightly from picks to like Heather's choices.
There you go.
Okay,
Oh
the
my gosh.
29th, we have full moon in Aries. Girl, you better work, you better twirl, you better get ready to steal the spotlight. We are getting it.
Oh my gosh.
We are not apologizing for being too much. We are going out there like this really, you get your like channel the most RuPaul that you can channel.
Really?
Yeah. Wave your flamboyant flag, your freak flag fly, be the most unapologetically you that you can possibly be. And when you feel like you're being too much, you crank it up even more.
I love it.
This is a full moon where we are letting inhibitions just fall down, and we are going to experiment with just how much of ourselves we can be, and getting the chance to see the beautiful reception that people give us for letting us just have that moment to be so incredibly us and our self-expression. Because the more we do that, there's a reason why people love RuPaul so much. And the reason why is because he gives all of us permission to be so much ourselves.
Yes.
To love ourselves no matter what it is, even the most unlovable part of ourselves, we love that the most, and it becomes a part that we can love.
Ugh. Mm.
Right? Like
Yes.
you are so important. You are here for a reason. And the more you that you can be, the more fulfilling that it will be for your purpose on this world. And the more you realize how important and necessary you are just purely for existing in yourself.
Yes.
And you realize how selfless it is for you to do that because of the permission that it gives other people, because the joy it gives other people. People love you for you. And the more you that you are gives them more reason to love. And we love to love as human beings. And do it without any expectation as to how you can leverage it into anything. Like, how can you leverage into status, into content, into views, into any of that? Do it just for the amazement that you feel of being you. No expectations, just unabashedly you.
Is this coming from Aries in particular because it's a full moon in Aries and just the combination of Libra? Okay.
Yeah. Take
Go
up
big
space.
and go bigger.
Take up
Take up
space.
space.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Okay, how are we doing for time?
Like 10 more minutes.
Okay. Okay, guys, we have listener questions.
Yes. Oh yes, we definitely have to cover these.
Okay,
Who
so
did you
we've got 3 questions that we're going to cover. I'm so excited. Okay. So, listener question number 1 from Kelly W. Hey, Kelly W. Kelly's question is, I'm working on a launch for my business and would like to plan for the best time. I know, of course, Black Friday, holidays, but what else could I look at astrology-wise that would tell me an even better time? Love this. First of all, just as a caveat, I think the best time is when you are ready. Like when you've given yourself the time to make sure that you are as prepared as you can be. And I don't mean like ready and you feel ready, because you'll never feel ready and prepared, but making sure that you have a clear idea of what it is that you're launching. You've got all of the things that you need to get done ready, and you've tested it. That's what I mean by ready. Not an intrinsic feeling of I'm ready, but you logistically have all your ducks in a row, because that's going to make your life so much easier. But astrology wise, making sure, first of all, that you're not doing it during an eclipse. That's just no bueno, don't do that. There's not a lot of things that I say in astrology to like hold off on doing, except for an eclipse. Just don't try not to launch things or to try and make things happen during an eclipse. Those are a time to just, if you can have the autonomy to be able to be like, this is a time where I'm just gonna like keep the wheels moving on the bus, you're gonna be better off for it. But making sure if you are going to be launching, I don't love launching in a retro, like during a Mercury retrograde, just because technology and communication are what are going to be biggest impacted then. So depending on when it is that you are launching, look to see when Mercury is going to be retrograde. And if you are going to launch, if that's a time where you really have to be doing it, or it's going to be leading into that, really make sure that you have your ducks in a row. Make sure that you have emails already copied out and proofread. Make sure that you are sending tests out before you schedule an email to go out, making sure that you can schedule communication instead of just firing it out really quickly, but always making sure that you do a test first. Make sure that your checkouts are working, everything is clicking, like going through the process yourself, or getting a friend to go through so you can troubleshoot, and making sure that the technology and the communications are streamlined. Do yourself a favor for that. It may feel really tedious, but you will thank yourself later. Again, that's not to say not to launch or have anything going on during a Mercury retrograde. I don't believe that we need to stop and hold ourselves back because of anything. Astrology is here to help us understand the energy that is going on so that we can be best prepared to navigate it.
Oh, I love that.
Right? It's empowering.
Yes.
But what I would say is a great time to pick would be aligning with a new moon. New moons are a nice time just because they mark a new beginning. It's fresh, new energy. We're putting seeds in the ground to start something. And it's got like a 6-month period of when this chapter is starting and what we're working towards. So just symbolically, that's really nice. Now a heads up, we do have an eclipse portal October 14th to November 13th. So that's a month where I would say, if you can hold off from launching anything during that time, do yourself a favor.
And just to be clear, like launching it doesn't have to be like a literal launch of a program. It could just be starting something new,
starting a sales
new service or sale, or okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but like the rule of thumb with it, like just in general, it's good practice to make sure that you're like doing your due diligence and making sure that you've got everything checked out and everything. But sometimes, especially if you're an entrepreneur, sometimes it can feel a little too tedious and you don't have time, or you might have done everything, but because you're working solo, something went through and you didn't catch it. Just giving yourself an extra timeline buffer, making sure that you're giving yourself that will be great. And if you can ask a friend to help you by going through that process or double checking, if you have entrepreneur friends who you can lean on, or hiring a VA or somebody in that time, just as a short term to help you out, could be a huge saver for you.
Okay.
Be kind to yourself. Okay. China T. Her question, China, is my siblings. Oh, right. I got really excited about this question. Okay.
I love her name.
I know, China T. My siblings, who are Cancer, Aquarius, and Capricorn, I'm assuming sun signs, don't like my boyfriend, who's an Aries, again, assuming sun sign. I want them to get along. Are their signs conflicting? How can I make them see how great he is? Okay. So I am a firm believer that anyone can get along with anyone. And that is one of the things that I love most about human design and astrology, is that these are two systems that show that we are all made of the same things. We all have the same things. When it comes to astrology, we all have the same 12 signs in our chart. We all have the same 12 planets. We all have the same 12 houses. Did I say houses already? Signs, planets, houses.
Yes.
We've got all those in our charts. We all have the same one. What makes us unique is how those are activated. And that's what makes us different. But everyone, your 3 siblings, they all have Aries in them. Your boyfriend has Cancer, has Aquarius, and has Capricorn in his chart. So that is my biggest thing, is everyone can get along with everyone because they have those things. I think astrology gets a bad rap because, and this is why we started doing the Justice 4, is because people like will pinpoint, I don't like Geminis. I don't get along with Geminis. That's crap. You don't get along with that person because you don't want to get along with that person.
It's true.
Astrology can sometimes be a scapegoat. So as a sibling, my brother and I, we are 19 months apart. We are very close with each other up until, like you guys just heard. It's actually pretty funny. I forgot that this question was in here, but the fact that I was gushing about my sister-in-law so much, she's the only partner that my brother has had in his entire life that I have liked. I hated every other girlfriend from his past.
Oh,
I've always
funny.
wanted to like them because I love my brother so much and I want him to be happy. He just had a terrible picker and he dated horrible people. I was also much harder on them when I look back on it with fresh eyes. I was much harder on them because I love my brother so much and I want good things for him. And I didn't think that they were the right fit for him. They also weren't the right fit for me.
Found the perfect one now.
So this is what I would say to keep in mind with your siblings, is that your siblings love you and want the best for you. If you really love or really like your boyfriend and see how great he is, help them to see those parts that you really love and talk with them about how great he is, but not in a preachy way. Let them see you two together and how happy you guys are together, how happy that person makes you, how well taken care of that person makes you feel, how safe you feel with them. Highlight to them those great things. It's not about their sun signs. It's about helping them to see that you are in a relationship that works for you. And that's all that they need. And it can be having that clear conversation. My brother and I had that conversation several times. As we got older with his girlfriends and I didn't like them, I would be very clear about the fact that like I didn't like them for this reason, and he would put me in my place and say, it doesn't matter, this is my partner, I'm happy with them, so either get on board or you don't see me. We won't hang out with each other as much because I'm going to be with her, so you either need to figure out a way to get on board and just accept that this is somebody that makes me feel really good and takes care of me and all those things. And as a sibling, I had to say, you're right. That's not my relationship. That's not my place. If they're well taken care of and they're happy, that's all that really matters. And so then for me, I'm going to start to see those things. But I also let my brother know, if you want me to see those things, you have to help facilitate for us to be able to see those things. And same thing with your partner, make your partner see those things that are really great that you love about your siblings. But this becomes your responsibility, if you really want them, is having that clear communication with them of saying, I really like my siblings, I really like my partner, these are the things that I really love, and I think that you guys would really like each other for these things. When my brother did meet his now wife, and knowing that I didn't like any of his other girlfriends, that was always a thing, one of the first things that he did was say, hey, you're going to meet my girlfriend, Amanda. She is going to come stay at your place. They were living out of town at this time, so they were coming there staying with me. And he said, these are the things that I really like about her. These were like the dates that we went on. These are great. These are the things that you guys have in common, and I think will be like middle ground for you guys. And then made sure that the first time that we were meeting was something that we knew we were going to like mutually enjoy. So helping us to meet halfway.
Love that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's less about their astrology and it's more about you using your relationship with everybody and helping them to come together. Clear communication. And now that we have Venus going direct again, that's going to really help you to be able to help navigate those relationships with those people that you love and helping them to come together. Because ultimately, those three siblings and that partner, they want you to be happy. And if that's going to be something of like them trying to, they don't have to love each other, they don't have to become best friends, but they do need to treat each other with respect and some common ground. And good news is all four of them have common ground, and that would be you and your happiness.
Oh, I love that. When I saw that question, I was like, I don't know how she's gonna do this one. I don't know what the answer is for this, but that was perfect.
I got so excited about that question.
I'm like, I'm passing this one on for sure.
Put me in, coach. I got it. Okay. And then our last question is from Amy. Amy asks, I want to bring astrology into my coaching business. How can/should I get started? And this again, I got so excited about. So there was a couple of things that came to mind for me. First of all, for your business, use forecast astrology to help you plan out your business activities. So this was something you and I had worked on, where we were forecasting what 2023 was going to be looking like, what the astrology was going to be, and how you can leverage that. That's something that you can do for your business. So looking at when those great times to launch things would be, when a good time for you to take breaks would be, when it would be a good time for like all these things. So look at the forecast astrology to help you plan your cycle of activity for your business. The other thing is to look at your natal astrology to help you align with your business practices. So looking to see things like where your Jupiter is, what's going on in your 10th house, what's going on in your second house, which is really strongly, okay, so to make that clear, your 10th house is your house of like your vocation and your occupation. So knowing what planets and the sign are ruling there will help you to get a more clear understanding of, does your business actually really fit with what it is you're trying to do, especially if like you're trying to make some shifts. That can help to bring some clarity into how you're operating. Looking at your second house, which is really tightly associated with your relationship with money. That will really help to figure out what your sales style is going to be, where money blocks might exist for you, where some healing might need to happen, where your Mars is located. Mars is our real driver action planet. So that can be a real helpful understanding of like how you like to take action. Are you trying to blueprint your business in a way that doesn't work for you, so it feels like kind of a grind? Those are some things that can really help zhuzh up your business to make it feel more you, more streamlined, those types of things. So that's for your business. I don't think that was really the question that you were asking, but those are some ways that astrology can really help you in your business practices. And there's a lot more in like your business astrology that we can get into, but that would be in a one-on-one situation. Anyways, I would need to know where your chart is. The second way, which I think is the question that you were really asking, which is how can you incorporate astrology into your coaching business, working with your clients? I assume that that's the real question.
That's what I felt. Yeah.
I just really love to, like, if you're going to be bringing into working with your clients, let's make it part of your practice as well.
Absolutely.
And you might have already done that, but I just wanted to throw it out there for anyone else listening. You can also use your human design in that as well. So for your clients, what I like to do when I'm using astrology with my clients, which I do use human design and astrology as a foundation with all of my clients, is pulling their natal chart to get a better understanding, a foundational understanding. One of the reasons why I really like human design for this, as well as astrology, is it helps people to understand why they tick, why they move the way that they move, why they think the way that they think, or why things have happened in their life in a certain way, without making it feel like it's them, like it's personal. There's like a dissociated understanding of, oh, it's because I was designed this way, and if I was designed this way, then I can work with it, rather than being like, I'm broken inside, or I fucked up, or whatever it is. when we point these things out, like things haven't worked out because I've been moving the wrong way, that can kind of feel like we start to beat ourselves up. But if it's because I haven't been living in alignment with myself, I've been going against my human design, it's like, oh, well done, no wonder things didn't work out. So how can I take that information and actually action it in a powerful way that would be helpful in my life? So it becomes less personal. It helps us to understand those things without making it mean that we're bad, broken, all those things. So that's the first place to start. And people tend to be less defensive over that because it is like an outward thing. It's not about them as a person. It's, I don't know what the word is for it, but but I hope you know what I mean. Like it's a thing that's just like exists outside of them and the meaning of who they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So that's the first thing that I start with.
Okay.
And then that can help us to understand. And then as you, as a coach, you also get to look and see, you know, how they take their actions, how they like to be communicated, what their communication styles are, and how you can best support them because you understand them better as a human being without them having to fully understand themselves. It just expedites the process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see how they tick and why they tick. And so you know how to present things to them without them getting defensive or trying to figure out all these different ways. Like a lot of times with talk therapy, you spend so much time in those therapy chairs, which I'm not saying that don't do therapy, because therapy is so incredibly important. But sometimes with talk therapy, it can take a long time to get to where you need to go because it takes the therapist a long time to ask a lot of open-ended questions to figure out where the pain point is.
Yes.
Whereas when we start with things like an understanding of astrology and human design and understanding and having that talk therapy portion where we're talking about how they're living their lives and what is existing currently, we can start to see where the gaps are existing.
Yes.
And so it helps to kind of expedite that process and helps move things along a lot smoother. You don't have to guess at how they're going to respond to things or how things are going to work best, because we know how they're meant to take action. We know how they're meant to make decisions. We know where their intuition lies and all those things. So that's a great first point. And then the other thing is to bring in looking at forecast or current astrologies into your sessions so that you can help them to navigate the current energies along with what's going on with your coaching. So bringing things up like, you know, we've got all these retrogrades happening right now. So that can be an explanation as to why these things are going on currently in your life, why you're having these like hangups and pinpoints. So let's retrace back to when the thing went wrong. What were you doing right before that? And that can kind of help us to, again, alleviate I did this wrong, I fucked up, things don't work for me. We get that narrative off of them and onto something else so that they can be receptive to it. That's what I was trying to say. It gets it off of them. Yeah. And then as well, depending on what it is that they're doing, and when you know that there's an eclipse portal coming up, you can say like, you know what, this is the time to really take your foot off the gas pedal and just kind of let life happen and roll with the punches. Learn resiliency.
Yes, 100%.
So I hope that helps. I hope that helps Amy, China, and Kelly.
Awesome, our first Q&A.
Yes. Oh my God. It was so fun, you guys. I had so much fun with those questions. Keep them coming.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, we did it.
This was a great episode.
I know. It'll be even better next month. We won't have Mercury Retrograde.
And Libra season.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, my dear. As always, you rocked it. I know everyone listening. We love you too. And we love you guys.
We do. This is me like I'm pinching your cheeks or something. I don't know. This is me, my crab coming out. I don't know why I'm just like want to.
Oh my God. All right, you guys, you have heard it all from us. That is all we've got for you right now. We'll be back next month for October, Libra season. So stay tuned. Send in your questions, your comments, your feedback. We love to hear it and embrace it. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, my dear. It's early. We got the whole day ahead of us.
I know. You enjoy the rest of your day too.
Thank you.
Until next time, my friends.
Yeah, we love you guys. Till we meet again.
Bye.